this is Austin Thompson, and we are here with another On Location Spotlight Entrepreneurship series with Andrew Clark of Hite Digital Atlanta. And today we're going to be discussing digital marketing and why it is important to have a digital marketing plan as part of your overall marketing plan as a small business owner. Because we know as small business owners and entrepreneurs, and being in this space actively and successfully, digital marketing is essential to the success and survival of our businesses. So Andrew, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, and thank you for having me here today, Austin.
All right, great, man. I'll tell you, we have so many things going on in the small business space, and it is so critical for small business owners and entrepreneurs to really understand the importance of digital marketing and how it impacts their businesses and their bottom line, right? And I think this is the one thing that they truly miss, not intentionally, but everybody markets, right? If they understand the importance of marketing, everybody markets, right? But what is it to capitalize on digital marketing, social media, and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
To really get small businesses over the hump, all right? So that's what we really want to discuss today. So tell us a little bit about how you got into digital marketing. What was it about digital marketing that really interested you?
So that's sort of it's a loaded question because it's a long one.
Yeah.
So I grew up in the age where we had like MySpace, Facebook. That was all just starting when I was growing up. So I've always been into posting a lot on MySpace, Facebook, and I kind of just grew up with everything digital.
Right.
But it was really when I was working with small businesses in Nicaragua and I was working with nonprofits, I was helping them find donations, fundraisers, etc.
Right.
But we were using GoFundMe pages, their website, how to bring in traffic, how to capture other people. So that was sort of the start of how to use the internet for marketing yourself. But then I started working with an agency in Nicaragua as well.
Right.
That's what introduced me to paid ads. So Google ads, paying for Facebook ads, etc. And I personally never really understood how it all worked and how useful it was. And once I got the key to that, it just blew my mind and it opened so many doors on how this could be used and applied for a small business.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So you were just doing it for your organization?
I was doing it for organizations, small businesses, and then once I learned how to use Google Ads, and I worked there for a couple of years, and then I went and I was doing nonprofit in Amazon for a wildlife center. And that's where we were using some Facebook ads, we were using SEO, we were using the website, social media, we were using all the different facets of this big pie, of this huge monster to bring in donations, to bring in more visitors, to all of these different things.
Exactly.
So it's a complicated mess, and that's why I think sometimes when people hear digital marketing, it sort of sounds like this magic wand, and that's why I think a lot of people don't believe in it. They don't think it works. Right. Because it's just this blanket term. So I think when we talk about digital marketing, we have to kind of understand, are we talking social media, are we talking paid ads, are we talking just your website, and how does that all kind of work together?
Right. And the one thing I really want to emphasize to those watching is that marketing is not just brochures and having a website and anything that gives you visibility. Knowing the ins and outs of digital marketing and social media and search engine optimization, and we're going to get into all of that, really helps you capitalize on the opportunities to grow your revenues and see the profits that you need in order to get over the hump as a small business, right? So you are, and correct me, you're a managing director for Hite Digital Atlanta?
General manager.
You're general manager for Hite Digital Atlanta. What is Hite Digital Atlanta, and what do you offer your clients?
So Hite Digital as a whole, it's based on a franchise model. So there's 17 offices in the U.S. From Portland, Maine to Miami to Dallas to San Francisco. A friend of mine and myself, we opened up the Atlanta office. So then what that gives us is that I'm able to meet with our clients on a personal connection like this. Right. But then we have a huge team of 160 or so people that the Facebook experts are just doing Facebook, Google experts are just doing that. So we have everyone in their lane that they're really good at. And it just allows us to give them the highest possible service and satisfaction because everyone knows what they're doing. They live and breathe it every single day.
Right.
But then we get the connection that we have here.
Right.
So if I was to build this out on my own, I would be pulled in so many different parts. I'd be missing updates here. I wouldn't be able to do this, or I would have a big team, and then that would raise my costs.
Right.
And then when those costs rise, I have to pass it over to you.
Right.
So using this franchise model allows us to have the experts that we need to do, keep on top of everything, have it work at a high level, but then also keep this connection, because at the end of the day, that's what's important.
Exactly.
If something isn't working in someone's strategy, I want you to be able to call me, for us to meet. We say, hey, this is not working.
Right.
We take a look at it, and then we can pivot.
Right.
But without that communication of the client and myself, then things get lost. And I think that's where a lot of big agencies kind of fall. And that's where sometimes I feel like a therapist, when a new client comes to me and they say, hey, I've been burnt by this other agency.
Right.
I worked with them, I talked, but they just gave me false leads or this or that. And I think that's why the communication, the transparency, and the trust is where you have to have that foundation first.
Yeah. The foundation and the team of experts in those critical areas that really help small businesses understand the true essence of digital marketing. Yeah. And the relationship between sales, marketing, and revenue. And as a consultant, I always try to make my clients understand that in order to generate sales, right, the market needs to know you exist. The market needs to know you exist, because if you're seeking sales and to generate revenue and to see an uptick in traffic to your business, the market must know you exist, right? So tell us a little bit about, we were talking about the relationship between sales and marketing, right? Just tell us a little bit about, from your marketing background, your background as a digital marketer, why that is so important for a business owner to understand that marketing must lead sales. Marketing generates sales because you're letting the market know you exist, right? Letting the market know that you're in business, that you're open for business, and you're ready to do business with the market, right?
Yeah. So when I was in Peace Corps, I was working with a lot of small businesses, helping them develop their business plan, people starting their business. Right. Sort of like you, I think, in a way, sort of a consultative approach. A lot of people think when they open up their business, there's going to be a line out there waiting. And I think that's the biggest thing. We have to understand that that's not going to happen.
Exactly.
If I can ask you a question, how much, if someone has a budget, let's say of $10,000, how much of that would you apply towards marketing? Right.
Now you might apply about 10 to 15% of that 10,000, right, to marketing. But as it grows, you have more invested in the marketing.
And I think that's a really good point. And the reason why I asked that is I believe marketing is the only expense that you'll have that will bring in money back in. A lot of people think you have overhead, you have lights, you have all these other expenses, but you're not getting money from it. So marketing is an investment. You put money in, and that's why it's so tied together. A lot of the clients that I work with, we're generating leads. We were able to, I worked with one guy who, for the last 20 years, he was doing general contracting, concrete polishing, etc. And he just got one of those milestone birthdays. He didn't want to do any of the manual labor anymore. It was him and 4 other people. He wanted to grow the business, but just take the phone calls, quote, and then manage.
And then manage it.
So we got him within a year between getting his page on that first page of Google and then spending $22,000 on Google Ads in 2021. We got him up from around $400,000 that year prior to doing 1.3 million. Right. And then bringing that team from 4 people up to 10 or 12. Right. And that happened because of the money that we put into the SEO and that $22,000 we were able to spend on Google for ads. Right. And that shows the result. $22,000 in the SEO from $400,000 a year to 1.3 million.
Wow. Yeah. That's a significant jump, and you and I have actually engaged in conversation about going to that first page, right? When someone is looking for a service and they go to that first page on Google, if you're not there, right, they're picking whoever is there on that first page, because you don't want to be located on the second page or God forbid, the third page or anything beyond that, right?
No.
So it's really important when we get into the SEO. And this is a great segue because Google Analytics, and how important is it to a marketing campaign, right? How important is it for, like, when you're designing a marketing campaign for a client? How important is it for you to really convey to that client, how important Google Analytics are?
That's the number one step. If they don't have that on their website,
right,
that's the number one thing we do.
Right.
Once we get access, we install that. Because if you're running ads, if you're doing SEO, you need to know where you are now and where you're going to be a year from now. You have to know the clicks, how many sales you're doing, what people are searching, where they're searching. Maybe there's a different target audience.
Right.
You thought you had this group A,
Right.
but maybe it's group B that really is buying your thing.
Right.
So we need to market for that group and not this group.
Right.
And that's why without the data, digital marketing doesn't really work. And that's the real difference between digital marketing and traditional.
Right.
If you have a billboard on the highway, how many people saw that billboard? How many people called you? How many people bought your product?
Exactly.
We don't know because we don't have Google Analytics. We don't have a camera there scanning everyone.
That's so true, because you just can't, have the billboard there and say, oh, well, we think 20,000 cars in a day is going to pass by.
Yeah.
How really 20,000 cars are passing by? How many people out of those 20,000 in the vehicles are actually
when I drive.
Actually, so the analytics are really, really important, and searchability and really making sure that you're working with a digital marketer, a marketing consultant that knows how to get you on that first page. And is it really difficult for a company to be located on the first page of Google?
So it's not difficult per se. It takes time.
Yeah.
The average that I give people is between 6 to 9 months. Once you start doing the full strategy, putting out content, getting some press releases, building up those backlinks. There's a number of buzzwords that I could use of strategies that we implement.
Yeah.
But that strategy, the key behind it is sort of like going to the gym every day, or at least a couple times a day, going to the gym regularly, eating healthy, doing all these things on a consistent. You're not going to see that result from January 1st when we all start going back to the gym until the end of January. But it's going to be from January 1st, 2022 to 2023, the next year. I'm going to see myself in a better fit. And SEO is kind of the same way. It's more of the consistency, but keeping that strategy on point and always constantly evaluating it. I could be going to the gym, improving my strength and health and so on and so forth. But it may not be as good as I want. So there's something that I may have to tailor. Whether it's my diet, time, how much sleep I'm getting, and then that could change everything. So I would say it's consistency. So that's why working with someone like us or anyone else is really key, because they can take all that time.
Exactly.
If you're trying to spend and learn you're spending, let's say 5 hours a day or a week on your SEO on your website. How long could that be helping your clients?
Exactly.
Working with someone that knows the strategy and you're not even trying to teach it, you learn it yourself. So that's where it's really, we know what we're doing, the consistency, but then also freeing up that time so you don't have to learn it.
So what Andrew is saying is, get the consultants, get the expertise you need, and if you're consuming too much time doing something you don't need to be doing, you can have that consultant work on your digital marketing for you, and you can take that time now and invest it in going out and sourcing new business, meeting clients or prospects face to face, and generating leads for your business, right? So that's really the key, right? So value proposition, because we always want to know, when we're going to do business with someone, what is it about you, right, that would make me want to do business with you? Right? So what is the value proposition of Hite Digital Atlanta? What is it that customers and clients get from you?
So besides us just growing your business and then getting you more leads, there are so many other digital marketing agencies that do good work and all that. But I think the difference is that because of my education background, when I used to be a teacher on the side, I was doing nonprofit, I spend a lot of time working with these people. Sometimes I have calls with people from 1 to 3 hours. Trying to talk about, okay, what are the situations that we have? What are your goals? And I'm friends with a lot of the clients that I have now, and I think
Okay.
that's sort of the different approach. And again, that's why the franchise model that we've bought into works really well, because I'm not spending as much time going into the weeds of the actual fulfillment. I'm able to figure out and create that relationship to make sure that that trust and transparency is actually there.
Right. So that's unique, right, to Digital Hite Digital Atlanta. Is the relationship building? Yeah.
From other people that have come to me, I always hear, I got reports, but I didn't know what they meant. I just got them sent to my email. No phone call, nothing to see how things were actually going.
Right.
And then what happened is when people are sending out those reports, it's, hey, we got you 5 leads in the month of March.
Okay.
But those 5 leads weren't good leads.
Okay.
So how am I supposed to know that without that communication, without having that relationship?
Exactly.
And in the long term, I think that that allows us to avoid a lot of issues down the road,
Right.
because I'm able to identify on my end, it looks like that we're doing well.
Right.
On your end, things aren't going so well.
Right.
3 months from now, you're going to say, hey, I haven't got any new leads, and I'm going to say, hey, I got you 20.
Right.
But they weren't relevant leads.
Exactly.
With that relationship, I'll be able to dig that information out and see how things are actually going.
Right. Right.
And I think that's the difference. I mean, it takes a little bit more time because you have to meet with people.
Right. Because it's the relationship and the communication.
Yeah.
Right. That your clients really appreciate. And not leaving them hanging, because again, if you have 5 bad leads and they don't know those leads are bad, then they would know that, I'm not going to get business from those leads that I have. But you're communicating that to them through the relationship that you're building with them.
Or they're communicating it to me saying,
right,
hey, the leads that we're getting right now, they're not profitable, they're not the right type of person that we want to work with, they're not good for you. Like if you're the client,
right,
you're calling me saying, hey, these leads aren't good.
Right.
You're saying you got me 5, but so then my question is, okay, what's the target audience? Who are we targeting? Where are we targeting?
Right.
How can we change that? Because on my end, I just see all of the numbers in the lead. So that's where being able to put like actual dollar value amounts
Exactly.
or the quality to that lead is really important.
In order to quantify if it's successful or not.
Yeah.
Now, on your website, I noticed you have you provide holistic services, right? Is that part of your competitive advantage? And what do you mean by holistic services?
Can you read?
The holistic services, you have that on your website that you provide. What is holistic services?
So we help people when they're starting up I work with a lot of startups.
Right.
So that can be helping them figuring out what is their brand story. A lot of people, they come up and they have some fluff sort of mission statement.
Yeah.
So helping them figure out what is actually the mission statement, what is the brand, what is the story. Because without that, I can put up a website and if it doesn't fit. So being able to fit the entire scale of one of our larger clients is Texas A&M.
Wow.
So being able to go from there, but also someone that's just starting their business,
right,
their brick and mortar business,
right,
but being able to help them do it in steps. And I think that's another, when you have that connection that I was mentioning, one of the benefits of this franchise model and working with Hite Atlanta, I'm not just trying to sell you on all of the services we have.
Right.
If I know you're not up for the SEO or the Google ads right now, I can say, hey, let's figure out the story, let's figure out the branding.
Right.
Then let's do the website.
Exactly.
Then and break it out into phases.
Exactly.
So it's so I think the fact that we cover all of those things is because of the franchise model. We have people that are experts in branding to experts in building websites, etc. So that's what encompasses everything.
Right. And there's so many various social media platforms out there, right? Sometimes you hear, hey, Facebook is best for you. Oh no, LinkedIn is best for you. No, TikTok is best for you, and Instagram is best for you. But based on your expertise, right? What is, I don't know if there's such a thing as the best, but what is suitable for certain businesses? Depends upon the business model, I guess, right?
Yeah.
When you talk about social media platforms.
So I would say the famous answer, it depends.
It depends, right? Yeah.
So it depends on the size that you're at, what you're comfortable doing. So if you're, look at Coca-Cola, they're a huge brand. They're doing everything.
Right.
If you're a medium-sized business that may say, let's get really good at TikTok, LinkedIn, and maybe Facebook. If you're just starting off and you're solo entrepreneur
Mhm.
and you feel comfortable in front of the camera,
Mhm.
it may make sense just doing Facebook and then using TikTok,
Yeah.
and using those videos and really jumpstarting that. If
Right.
you're not as comfortable with TikTok
Mhm.
and being in front of a video, maybe forming relationships on LinkedIn
Mhm.
and Facebook, or if you're
Right.
business to business. So it really depends on where you are in your journey,
Mhm.
what are your goals, and then kind of what are you capable of doing.
Right. Right.
Because it will come across at first. I mean, I would recommend everyone to try a little bit of everything.
Right.
Put 80% into one or two of them.
Mhm.
So for example, right now I'm really big on LinkedIn, Facebook, and I'm starting on TikTok.
Okay.
I'm trying to get better. I'm still finding my
Same
voice
as I,
and
yeah.
whatnot. So that's where my 80%. I spend most of my time on those three socials.
Mhm.
But I have a Twitter, we have an Instagram,
Mhm.
we have a Pinterest and all these other things.
Okay.
But I spend maybe 20% of my time
Mhm.
across those other ones.
Right.
Because really the bulk
Mhm.
are the Facebook,
Right.
LinkedIn, and now playing with TikTok.
Yeah. And can a small business or a solopreneur, micro enterprise,
Mhm.
can they really capitalize on Facebook ads?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
if done
Really?
properly. So the
Mhm.
Facebook ads, you just have to be aware of, one, how good are you actually at selling?
Mhm.
Facebook ads can be cheaper than say Google ads or some of these other options,
Right.
but you're gonna get seen a lot more. The way I always explain Facebook
Mhm.
is Google ads
Mhm.
is very targeted. When someone's searching for, if I'm a plumber,
Right.
if someone's searching for my services, they're gonna say plumber near me.
Right.
So it's very intentful. That's why I want to be there.
Right.
When someone has crap coming out of their toilet,
Mhm.
they're searching. People aren't going to do the research. That's why it's really
Yeah.
important to be at the top.
Exactly.
With Facebook, it's sort of like a more targeted billboard of the internet.
Mhm. Mhm.
You're targeting based off of demographics and interests.
Right.
So I'm not on Facebook searching for anything.
Right.
So the intent is a slightly different. It's more of an awareness, trying to get out and grow the business to people who may not know about me.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's definitely profitable, especially if you're doing e-commerce. I would
Right.
say that's the big one too.
Right. So you figure like a Facebook ad of about 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or you can do a full commercial, or what do you recommend?
So you can do videos, or you can also do just regular like banners, like
Right.
a typical ad. I don't know if you've gone through and you see
Mhm.
has some
Mhm.
text, a banner, and then it says call now.
Right.
So that would be a good way to generate awareness,
Right.
and that way when they start searching, like they go to your website, now you have their information. You can do targeted ads. There's a number of things that would work, but with the right strategy, it does
Right.
work. It doesn't make sense for every industry or
Right.
depending on the situation, but they still work. Yeah.
Right, right, and you're now getting out and really testing the Atlanta market.
Yeah.
How has it been for you?
Well, it's been great.
Been great.
And
Yeah.
even with I'm friends with other digital marketers too.
Right,
We're technically
exactly.
competitors,
Right,
but there's so much there's so much business for everyone
right.
that
Mhm.
there's a lot of synergy between us. There's sometimes where I know if someone's better at this, I'll say, hey, maybe go talk to him, or
Mhm.
he might be better at working with certain industries, etc.
Exactly.
But things have been going really well right now.
Yeah.
Atlanta is growing like crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's huge.
it sure is. And with me, I'm more on the research end of marketing, and I know a little bit of everything to be dangerous. But Andrew here, he deals more with the specificity of digital marketing and SEO, search engine optimization, and social media marketing, and so on and so forth. And and he's very important, very critical to the marketing space. And for small businesses that are out there that are struggling to generate revenue, struggling to generate leads, and maybe the fact is you need to really look into hiring a digital marketer like Andrew and like Hite Digital Atlanta to really help you get over the hump and to generate the leads that you need in order to see the revenue that you really want to generate for your business, right? So Andrew, any final thoughts as we wrap up?
Any final thoughts? I think a lot of people just need to have a conversation with someone
Mm-hmm.
about digital marketing. It's sort of like if you're going in the finances, if you were to talk with me, I would hear you out, see where your website is if you have one,
Right,
and then give you some steps forward, maybe what you could do on your own.
right.
and then say, hey, when you get to this point, reach out to me. That's where you can probably hire our services.
Exactly.
But I think overall, digital marketing gets a bad name sometimes. Everyone knows it's important, but there's so many people who claim that they're a marketer, put their services out there, charge a cheaper price, but it's not a good service. How many times have we seen you can't get good for cheap?
Exactly.
So that happens quite frequently, and then I think people write it off completely.
Right.
So I definitely think meeting with someone like you when you're doing your research at the start, it's really important to meet with someone like Austin first. Get an idea of who to talk to, what kind of marketing strategy would be the best. Digital marketing is definitely there, but it may be something that happens between 3 to 6 months from down the road.
Exactly. And definitely important is not to go cheap, but to go with quality, because the quality you put into your own business will be the quality you put into your customers, generating leads, generating customers, long-term, loyal, committed customers is what I always tell my employees. Don't go for the one-off. Don't go for the one-off. Go for those long-term, loyal, committed customers who will stay with you because they enjoy doing business with you.
And I think that goes back to that trust and that transparency and that honesty. But also when you're going to jump into digital marketing, give it time. A lot of people think once you turn on a certain campaign, it's going to work within the first week.
Exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't with Google Ads. It can take 3 months. With SEO, it takes a couple more months. So give it time too. It's like anything in life. Like things have to there's a way and a strategy behind it, and sometimes it takes a little bit more time. Exactly.
Well, Andrew, I really appreciate you taking the time out to speak with me this morning and to doing the on location spotlight interview. I mean, this is really critical for those in the entrepreneurship space to really understand these important things that they need in order to grow their business successfully. All right. So if someone is looking for a digital marketer and they see this video and they say, hey man, this guy really knows this stuff, I want to get in touch with Hite Digital Atlanta, how can they reach you?
So if you go into Google and you search Hite Digital Atlanta, it's right there. Or you can find me on Facebook or LinkedIn as Andrew J. Clark. And if you put that name in with Hite Digital Atlanta, I'm going to show up, whether it's one of my social medias or whatever it may be. That's the way to go.
And just give them your website.
HiteDigital.com/Atlanta.
Right, great. And we're going to put all that information up. And, because we really want folks to utilize you and utilize your services and really get the best bang for their buck. Because again, you can't realize sales if you don't market and let the market know that you exist, that you're open for business. Because marketing leads sales. You got to have a marketing budget. You got to invest in marketing. Andrew.
Thank you, Austin.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you. I really appreciate the jewels and the nuggets you dropped this morning. And again, this is Austin Thompson with Thompson Management Consulting here with Andrew Clark of Hite Digital Atlanta. And we're here for another On Location Spotlight interview series. And we are always looking after you, the entrepreneurs, those of you who are out there generating business, creating employment, and really helping this economy grow. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great day.